Hi Jay, my name is Manje Sanyu. I work with Her Internet. In a nutshell, Her Internet is a feminist-led organization that is dedicated to creating safe, inclusive, and empowering digital spaces for women and structurally silenced communities. We do this through advocacy, we do empowerment, we do support queer or LGBTQ-led organizations. We do online campaigns on digital rights. We do research. We also do information dissemination online. This is something we do daily on our accounts. We do provide simple digital security skills on how people can navigate and use the internet safely. We do all this to combat gender-based violence or facilitate gender-based violence, to promote equitable or access to information and technology in Uganda and beyond. Digital threats refer to any malicious attempt or compromise that compromises one's confidentiality or integrity or availability of someone's online presence. This could come in different ways. Digital threats could be online harassment, could be cyber threats, it could be doxing, it could be phishing, it could be social engineering. I think all that falls under digital threats. Whereas digital safety, to me, I think those are practices that or tools that one uses to protect themselves while they navigate these threats online. I think it is important for LGBTQ women to be aware of digital threats, because when you are aware or when you have information, it is easy for you to navigate the space that you're working with. For instance, we are talking about the digital environment or digital space. If an LGBTQ woman knows how to safely navigate the internet, then the threats will be limitless. They will not be able to exclude themselves off the internet because of cyber threats. They will be able to navigate the internet safely. They will be able to use the opportunities equally like everyone else. So I believe it is very important for an LGBTQ woman to know these cyber threats. Some of the unique challenges that LGBTQ women face in urban settings, one is targeted surveillance. LGBTQ women often express themselves differently online. So this, with the way people express online, it kind of triggers how someone else is going to interact with you. And everyone else in Uganda is trying to find out what other people are doing on the internet. This also comes from the fact that the AHA was put into place. So this kind of puts everyone to surveil the other and know what they are doing on the internet through different ways. It could be hate campaigns, it could be hate speech, it could be doxing, it could be phishing. Yes. The other challenge that I think urban LGBTQ women face is online harassment. Of recent, there is a lot of exposure on how people use and access the internet in urban areas. So in urban areas, we've all known that there is a lot of urbanization and everyone has access maybe to a gadget or an online device that they use to navigate the internet. So then this leads them to, or exposes them to risks of trolling, blackmail, and cyber stalking. The other last one that I want to put across is social stigma. Most of the activists or queer people online, like I mentioned, identify differently. So then this brings a lot of backlash, because I want to say people do not have the right information about how queer living looks like or how people express themselves online. So this creates backlash and yes. So like I mentioned earlier, urban individuals have access to technology because there are platforms like internet is everywhere in urban areas, unlike in rural areas where people often lack information and awareness about digital security or what the internet is, or even just having a phone that accesses internet. The other is I want to talk about digital literacy. In urban areas, LGBTQ women have higher chances of accessing digital literacy or digital information. It is easy for someone in the urban area to learn about digital safety, unlike someone in the rural areas, because they lack these resources. They even don't know how to navigate the internet. They don't even know how to merely switch on a computer. So then that creates a difference. Then there are also connectivity issues. In urban areas, there is a lot of connectivity. We have MTN, there is Airtel, people are working, people have opportunities, and it's easy to access internet, unlike in rural areas where internet is merely not heard of or it's hard to access. I believe it's a 50-50 because we've seen the internet has been a place for growth, opportunities for one to get friends, connect with others, being a way to express one's feeling. For example, I'll post a photo of myself and express myself in whatever way I want to. So it's a 50-50 for me because whereas there are opportunities, there are also these threats. There is a saying, I don't know how it goes, where there's an opportunity, where there's a threat, there's an opportunity. Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities online, which is a 50% good for LGBTQ women, and then there are a lot of threats. So I believe it is a 50-50, creating opportunities, and then 50 not safe. I believe these threats affect LGBTQ women in different ways. For instance, if one is constantly harassed online, they are going to face psychological, emotional, and mental stress, because each now and then an LGBTQ woman will not be able to express themselves online because they are constantly harassed. Every time someone puts up a post, they are asking them, how are you, a man or woman? Why are you putting up such a post? So then it kind of creates mental or psychological stress, and they want to be able to navigate the internet just like the way they were. There is advocacy suppression. This stems from how perpetrators use the internet to put women down. They will use revenge porn or share intimate partner images out there so that someone can leave the space and not be able to navigate the internet safely again, which affects the advocacy work that they've been doing online. There is isolation. If someone is harassed online, or an LGBTQ woman is harassed online, so the other point is isolation. This comes from fear of exposure to other online harassment. So when someone is harassed online, they will definitely exclude themselves off the internet, and they want to be able to navigate the space again because they believe when they leave, the harassment won't happen to them again. But then yet it transfers to their offline life. So every time you're off the internet, you're thinking, what are people saying there? What is this one saying? What comments are there? You're creating the cycle, the mental stress that we talked about earlier. I believe it affects the ability to speak out and advocacy efforts, because if someone excludes themselves off the internet, they will not be able to catch up with opportunities that are taking place on the internet. Like I mentioned earlier, the internet is a place for opportunities, for growth, finding connections. So if an LGBTQ woman has left the space, then they won't be able to access those opportunities again. And it will affect their work that they do, or advocacy work. One is, I think, the work that we do at High Internet. We do digital literacy empowerment daily on our social media platforms. So if someone can adopt these practices of social media, of our social media platforms, empower themselves with information, for example, how to use two-factor authentication, creating strong passwords, enhancing or using safe messaging apps like Signal, WhatsApp. This, I think, enhances their digital security online. The other is regularly wanting to learn or attending campaigns or training workshops that recognize threats of online violence and learn how to navigate the internet safely. The other point is community support. If LBQ women or organizations or communities can create trusted networks, for example, peer-to-peer convenings that are sharing about digital safety tools or resources, I believe this also helps them navigate the internet safely. And also using access tools, for example, VPNs. Of recent iPhones now have inbuilt VPNs, so the VPNs can help you navigate the space safely and not be able to face the online threats. And using secure communication platforms like I mentioned, Signal, WhatsApp. One of the roles that organizations play in supporting LBQ women online, one is capacity building. For example, at High Internet, we do conduct trainings and workshops on internet safety or digital safety to empower women on how to use the internet, to give them simple digital security skills. So if there is a lot of empowerment being done by organizations, I believe we are women will be able to navigate the internet safely. There is a advocacy for safer online platforms. If queer organizations can collaborate with big tech companies and lobby for funds to advocate or address these online threats, for example, hate speech, harassment, and other harmful behaviors. The other is providing emergency support, because I believe if someone is a victim of online violence, they need to talk to someone. So if there is emergency support is defined in different forms. It could be shelter, it could be counseling, it could be technical support on how to protect the internet, and how to protect your devices. For example, at our internet, we had an ongoing session on providing authentic software. So if organizations are provided with authentic software, I believe it is easy to use the space. The other is visibility and solidarity. If LBK organizations can create campaigns to highlight LBQ voices and concentrate on the threats that come with using the internet. So if there is more visibility on these cyber threats, I believe more solutions will be put in place to combat the tech-facilitated gender-based violence. Policymakers can promote digital inclusion. This can reduce the gender gap, because of recent statistics show that there is a higher gender gap between internet access between men and women. For policymakers, if we can hold platforms accountable on these threats, for example, if X can work together with Meta or Google to combat these threats and prioritize safety, for example, it would be so easy. For example, on X, you can report, you can mute, you can mute any hate speech that is being done online or on your post. So holding them accountable will help us create an equal and free internet for everyone. We can policymakers can also promote digital inclusion. If there is digital inclusion promoted, then the gender digital divide is being reduced. For example, there have been statistics by World Wide Web talking about the gender divide, talking about internet access between women and men, which was around 17% and 28% of men being online, which is really a bigger gap. So if there is digital inclusion, then I believe the digital divide or the gap between accessing internet is bridged. The other is enacting inclusive laws. For example, implementing and enforcing anti-cyber bullying laws or anti-discrimination laws. I believe these will create a safer internet or safer ways of accessing or using the internet. In my closing remarks, I want to go back to what I said earlier. Where there is an opportunity, there is a threat. While LGBTQ women continue to use the internet, I would urge all queer women or queer persons to empower themselves with these simple digital security skills on how to navigate the internet safely. For example, simple as creating a strong password. When you have a strong password, it's not easy for a hacker to access your sensitive information. So let us learn, empower ourselves with how to protect ourselves online, follow our social media platforms so that you don't miss out on these daily tips. Yeah, thank you.